Hey guys, it's Kip here from KDC Marketing, and in today's video, I want to talk about some really important things about Wix CMS, and that is the content management system inside of Wix Studio. But I'm thinking that this will change the way that you think about CMS if you understand this one thing. So Wix CMS is over here inside of Wix Studio. It stands for Content Management System, and it takes a little bit of time to set up initially, but then it makes managing your content a breeze. And this collection, which is like data sets in here, is powering multiple pages on the website. So let me show you an example of what I mean. We have this Get the Help You Need section with these different services here. And these are actually powered by CMS. These are dynamic data set items that are being powered on this page. And if I click into one of these, like if I click here, it's going to take me to this 1 hour coaching session. So I'm going to go back to the home page here and go back down. If I click into the 30-minute coaching session, it's going to take me here. So that's all happening dynamically. And then this is a dynamic item page. And then I have a dynamic list page here where it's listing all the different things for each of these services. And I want to show you how this collection is structured. So if I go into my CMS under your collections, I go into services, you can see here that there's a lot of fields that are going on in this collection. You have your visibility, your status, whether that's visible or hidden. You have your title, subtitle, your price, your description, your image, your book now link. I even have a field to filter the order that I want. So you have an order field, you have URL fields in here, and you have other fields as needed. So there's a lot of different fields inside of each of these items inside of my data sets. But that being said, you don't have to use all of the fields all the time on all of the pages. You might pick to only use 2 or 3 of the fields on one page and then all of the fields on another page, or some of the fields on another page. So let me show you how this actually plays out on this website and what it means for you as you start to create these CMS collections and data sets. So over here in this data set, I'm only using a few fields. So if I go into my actual data set here, my connector, and this is how you know what element is connected to what field in your data set. So in this case, it's a text element and it's connected to my title. So it's connected to my title field. And if I pull this open, there's all of these fields I can choose from to connect it to. But this one in particular is connected to title. This one is connected to price. This one is connected to subtitle. And then this button has a click action, which means that when you click it, it goes to the services title page. So in this specific example, I'm using 4 fields here to power this page. Not all the fields that you see. I'm not using the image field. I'm not using all the fields that I had in my collection. I'm using 4 fields. And if we go to the specific service page, so if I pull this open here, this is my dynamic list page, and this is my dynamic item page. And if I go here, I'm using different fields. So I'm using my title field here, my price field, my book now link field. So this one's different. This click action on this button goes to the book now link. And then I'm using my description field, which is the longer of the two. So you can see that I'm not using my subtitle here like I was before. And I'm using an extra one. I'm using an image. So this image is connected to this, the image source inside of my collection. And then these buttons down here go back to specific pages. So these are connected. They do have a link that connects them. So this one goes back to the entire list. This one goes back to the next dynamic page, and this one goes back to the previous dynamic page. So these are actions that I've set up inside of here on this page that anybody can set up. But again, I'm not using all of the different fields in my collection on this page either. So I'm using a portion of them here, a different portion than what I've been using here on the list page where all the services are listed. I'm using 4 fields here. And then if we go to our home page, which is where we were looking at the very first example here, I'm using two fields here. So I am using a title field and I'm using a click action that takes them to the service item. So each individual service. So the point of this whole video is to show you that you can take one collection, one data set right here, my one services collection that has all this information in here, and you can use different portions of this data set on different pages. So like on the home page, I'm using two fields. I'm using the title field and I'm using the URL field here, the services title. Those are the only two. But then on the list page where I'm listing all the services, I'm using four things: the title, subtitle, price, and then again, a link to the services title. And then on the dynamic item page, I'm using a few different fields. So I'm using title, price, description, and image, and then a book now link. So all that to say is you can have one collection powering three different pages using different fields to show up and display on those pages, all happening dynamically. And if I were to remove one of those services from here, from my collection, if I were to make it hidden, then it's going to remove in all of those places with one click. So if I go in here and check this box and change this status to hide selected items, and I come back here, we're going to see the 15-minute discovery call has disappeared from this page on the home page, but it's also going to disappear from the list page where all the services are listed. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. Right here, all the services are listed, and there's no more 15-minute call. The services title, it'll only have 6 items now instead of 7. So with that one click, I was able to manage that service item across 3 different pages with different fields and all those kind of things. So that's the power of Wix CMS, is you can get one collection to do all of that for you. And so you can connect these collections to as many pages as you want. You can use the fields in here, different fields on different pages, and you can manage your content across your website with so much more efficiency if you have set this up correctly. And if I ever wanted to go in and change the price for this service, for example, I can change it here. It's going to change on all the pages that it's displaying on. So in this case, it would be 2 pages. If I was going to change the title, it would display on all 3 pages dynamically. So I could do that as well. So you don't have to use the same fields on every page. You don't have to even use all of the fields. You can use one of the fields or 2 of the fields or 3 of the fields or 4 of the fields. And you're actually more common than not going to use a portion of the fields for different things for very specific reasons. Like in this case, we don't need the subtitle here. We need the full description. But on this page, if I had the full description, then it would be kind of a lot. If I had the full description here, you'd be reading instead of just looking at, okay, which service do I want and do I want to click into? On the home page, if I had more information than just this, it would make this section really busy and I wouldn't really like it. So in this section, I just want a title and them to read more and get more information. So you can be very strategic about which sections, which fields that you're going to use on which sections and on the pages that you want to use them on, and you don't have to use all of them. And there's a whole other list of things we could talk about today with CMS. You can filter on different pages. You can do all kinds of things to make this work for you. And the beauty of it is it's all dynamic content. So once you set this up, you don't have to go in and mess with it here on the front end. You just go to your CMS collection and change it here, and it will update across all the pages where it's connected on the front end. So this obviously is in the editor. You can also manage your CMS on the dashboard on the back end of your Wix Studio website. But it's really so important to know that you don't have to use all these fields, and you might have fields in here that serve a specific purpose that the customer never sees. Like this order field, the customer is never going to see that. That's to keep my items in order for this specific collection. And so there can be things in here that are just on the back end that only you want to see, that you don't even have to connect elements to on the front end. So I hope you found this video helpful. CMS has been a game changer for me and for my clients. It makes managing content on Wix Studio a breeze. There is some initial time it takes to get it set up. You have to have some initial understanding of how it works and connecting certain data sets. But once you figure that out, then it gives you so many more opportunities to manage the content better. And just you see all these opportunities open up when you understand how to use it. You start to see more places you could use it to better manage your websites and your content. And if you take this page, for example, this one has 3 data sets on one page. It has a coaching data set, a services data set, and a testimonials data set. So you can really do a lot with CMS. That's why I talk about it all the time here on my channel, because it's so important to understand if you are doing anything with Wix Studio, and it can really change how you think about managing websites, building websites, designing websites, and creating a system that makes managing content so much easier. So that's what I have for today's video, and I will see you in the next video.